Hey everybody, Eric here. Thanks so much for tuning in to another video. And today I've brought two really great and very knowledgeable friends with me because today we are breaking down and analyzing and doing a deep dive of the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer. Welcome in, gentlemen. We've got John Chicken Phillips, we've got James from D-Review Ting with us today. How are you guys going?
Superb. How are you?
I'm very good. So John Chicken Phillips is one of our favorite weekly JRPG creators, and James over at D-Review Ting also posts weekly content focused around retro gaming stuff and, you know, PSP collecting and retro collecting, and also has a podcast as well. So very excited to be joined by these guys. And not only that, they are also massive Final Fantasy VII nerds just like me. And I'm sure you guys know the Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer came out over the last 24 hours. I've watched it so many times as well as you guys. What's your immediate first thoughts? John, we'll start with you.
Oh, I am so excited and over the moon. As you may know, I am a big Final Fantasy VII fan. Remake was one of my all-time favorite games, but Rebirth's gonna knock that. It looks amazing.
James, how about you?
This video blew my mind. It's been a long time, probably. I'm gotta be honest. It's probably since the original Final Fantasy VII Remake launch trailer that I got this excited over a game. Honestly, I lost my mind. I watched the video. Literally, I rewound the PlayStation thing because I didn't think it had been uploaded to YouTube straight away. So I just rewound it, watched it several times, and was just like, "Oh my God, this is just wild, absolutely wild." And then I watched it again some more this morning, to which my wife turned around and went, "You really are a nerd." I didn't even care. I didn't even care. I was like, this is amazing. And I am, I just, it got me very excited. So yeah.
John, what was the reaction you got? I want you to share that with us, because I like that one.
So my reaction to it, or the reaction from my missus?
The reaction from the missus.
I'll give you both.
Yes, please.
My reaction with it, I was literally just like, oh my God, no, they're doing this. Ah! You know, and then my wife's just like, "You've got a Final Fantasy already. What's the big deal?" It's like, it's Final Fantasy. Oh. And then when I saw Kate Sith, I was like,
"Oh yes,
so cute."
The Scottish legend himself.
Oh,
Do you probably feel very well represented when you see Kate Sith, or Kat She, as I think the proper pronunciation.
Kate C, yeah. Let's just hope they've got a decent Scottish actor doing it, but no, my luck, probably not.
Hey, you could be under NDA. We'd never know.
Yeah, well, yeah.
You heard it here first, friends.
My instant reaction was, because I wasn't actually expecting the trailer to drop. I was expecting something during TGS, which is Tokyo Game Show, here the next couple of days. But I woke up this morning and I saw a Final Fantasy VII Rebirth trailer, and I was like, "Oh my goodness, no way! I can't believe they're actually doing this." And we've already seen a lot of information recently, so I kind of feel that we're getting extra spoiled, and it was just an extra bit of substance there in the PlayStation showcase or whatever. But what they showed, and we're going to go over this trailer, we're gonna analyze it, we're going to play it back and go not necessarily frame by frame like some other channels do, but just get some good reactions and maybe some predictions as well. But my initial thoughts were, this is awesome. And my son was next to me as well, and he was captivated by it. I'm like, yes, he likes Final Fantasy VII. But there's a lot of cool moments and a lot of interesting moments as well that start the gears turning in our minds, thinking, what if? Because I think there's again, as we've speculated before, there's a lot more to this game than just a remake, as we know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and follow the trailer. I've got it lined up here. We're gonna play it back. I've got the subtitles on so we can also follow the dialogue and stuff. But I want initial reaction, so please just stop me wherever. So here we are. We're launching into it now.
The world's ending.
So this bit obviously is following on from the end of the last game. Spoilers alert.
Yes.
You can see obviously there's just utter chaos and destruction. So we've already seen this. We already kind of knew that they were following this on from the last trailer, but it's still, I don't know, it just got me excited straight away as soon as I saw it.
Yeah. So there was a trailer that came out not too long ago that showed some ruins and decimated Midgar with some what I personally believe to be body doubles of Tifa, Barrett, Aerith, and Red 13. This is, I think that's part of, this is massive spoilers, by the way, for anybody watching this. So please, just honestly, I think this is what we saw from that trailer is part of this timeline, because as we know, there's a second timeline now where Zack survives the onslaught of all the soldiers and all the Shinra army trying to take him out. And of course, he's finally successfully made his way to Midgar with the Mako poisoned Cloud on his back. So I think that's really exciting, and the Square is not being secretive at all that Zack now is existing, but at what capacity now? What are your thoughts initially?
Well, Zack, I've said this from the beginning, that Zack in this game is only going to be drip fed to us. I really don't think he's going to have that a lot of focus on it. I'll get to my tin hat theories later on, but I think he is not going to be a focal point in the game. I think he will be drip fed. We'll get little teasers of him throughout, little like when you go to next chapters or whatever. That's my sort of thought process with it just now. I think it's still going to mainly focus on Cloud and party, but yeah, and they're going to have the era mystery of Zack throughout.
Yep.
It's my thoughts. So.
You could be right.
There's also another little thing that you've actually frozen on right here. I don't know if you can see in the background. There are whispers in the background as well.
Yes.
I just noticed that.
Yes. So at the end of the last game, the whispers and I believe the continuity of the original story was obviously destroyed. And my impression is that Sephiroth was aware of the previous timeline, and so was Aerith. They're aware of much more than they let on. And having that timeline destroyed, obviously it leans into this, and that's basically Tetsuya Nomura's way of changing the story. So we'll continue here. Here we have the Junon Harbor scene, which is awesome, followed by Rufus. Now, the Junon Harbor scene is a very iconic scene. I love where they fire the Junon Harbor cannon. Of course, they fire it at... that's it.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. They fired at one of the weapons, just showcasing the power of that. And of course, Cloud and the party sneak in. This is a cool, iconic moment. So we're going to love being on the televised sequence where you have to do the gun flips and all that. That's going to be fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see, I was going to say something different to that, because looking back at it, I don't think that cannon shot's actually at one of the weapons. Because
I don't think it is.
I think
it's a test fire
during the ceremony.
Yep. Yeah.
Oh.
I believe you to be correct, John. Survey says.
Just close your eyes.
Now this is great. We've got Cosmo Canyon here.
Yes.
Ow.
This was the bit I lost my mind at. You could see the telescopes there. It just looks amazing. It just looks amazing.
That's so good. And this is quite literally one of those games that I feel like it's probably the only game that I can go frame by frame and say, look at this. Oh my God, look at this. They've upgraded this. The Cosmo Canyon scene, I mean, as with anything, especially very early on in Final Fantasy VII, is just so incredibly iconic. So I'm looking forward to leaning more into Red 13's story, as well, as we all know how that goes, where Red 13 finds out the history of his father being a little bit different than what he grew up knowing and being told.
So we can all be broken by that part again.
Oh my God. So good.
Everything on it dies.
We can
I think as well, a lot of the... there's a lot of parts there I was trying to figure out where it was. So like, you'll see there the sunken ship.
Yes.
Where's that? I don't know where that could be. There was the next section looked to me like it could be near Gongaga.
Yes, I was thinking that then, near the ruined reactor. That's where I'm thinking that is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dies. We can overcome our fate.
And I think here is probably closer to Cosmo Canyon. The only thing that I can think of, maybe this area here is close to Cosmo Canyon, but also at the same time, when you get on the ferry that goes from wherever to Casa del Sol, I can't remember, might be somewhere near one of the ports of that, because there's ships. So I don't know. That's one of those deep dive things that probably doesn't really matter, but it's cool to speculate where exactly this is. We also have this, and then the next scene here is flashback sequence. This is the calm sequence. Now we've seen this a couple of times if you've been lucky enough to play Crisis Core and all that stuff, and we've kind of seen that reimagined, so we get to see it fully reimagined. Now Sephiroth realizing that he's kind of an experiment. I just think it looks absolutely cool, and these scenes look exactly how they did when I was a kid.
Exactly.
Yep, that's right.
Pretty much.
Okay, we're looking for Sephiroth.
I want to know.
Think you can find him? Oh,
Here he is.
Lost,
Yes.
utterly lost.
Here we go.
Because it was like,
Yeah. So we get Kate Sith. So Kate Sith, of course, is a puppet by oh my God, what's his name?
Reeve.
Reeve.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he's probably, this is very early on when they first meet Kate Sith. As you guys know, if you've played the original game, Kate Sith is as a spy initially, and tasked with spying on the team or whatever, and eventually kind of turns and helps them for the good, for the better. But it was Kate Sith was teased a little bit when the plate fell in remake. But this is just awesome. I wasn't expecting to see Kate Sith at all. I thought it was going to be spoiled. Yeah. What are your initial
Also,
thoughts?
I don't know if you. Sorry, just going back to that.
Yes,
I don't know
please.
if you noticed some of the moves as well. He's got the drop kick, and then it shows like a little menu in there somewhere. I was having a little look. It might have been a bit before that.
We slow it down.
Yeah, it shows like a little mini menu of some of the things you can pick, and I believe them to be from the original game as well.
Yeah. So we've got.
Yeah, but yeah, the lucky roll and all that. Yeah,
Yeah. That's pretty clever.
yeah, that's really cool. I was like,
I was going to ask you guys what you thought of the moveset, but it's pretty clever. I'd like we don't really know how we didn't really know how they're going to put the movesets into modern controls, especially because they walled off Red 13 as a support character in the original. But this is really cool to see this. Well, John, what do you think? What do you think if you're being represented by your Scottish heritage here with Kate Sith?
Well, us big moogles. It's just fantastic seeing Kate Sith. He's one of my favourites in Final Fantasy.
Yeah.
And then obviously you've just stopped at the frame here in the
Yes.
buggy and work. It's going to be so good.
yeah,
It's going to be interesting how it's going to handle though. I'm interested because we've not in remake we didn't have any sort of transportation that you actually physically, apart from the motorbike sequence, you didn't have anything like that before. So where in this we've got the buggy already. We're seeing the next screen, I think it is, the choccobos.
Yes, that's right.
That's confirming.
Yeah, there you go.
Black chocobo.
Black chocobo.
Yeah.
There's a blue chocobo. So chocobo breeding happening in this?
Oh yeah.
yeah. That's what I was thinking.
Before we get
So-
to the segue, hang on. This also kind of soft confirms possibility of Knights of the Round as well, because obviously you have to breed the gold chocobo in order to get to that special island. So
Yeah, yeah.
that's pretty cool. Like knowing that pretty much most of that original stuff that a lot of people love is going to be pretty well preserved, but obviously just modernized.
There's a summon a bit later on as well that looks like it could have been Knights of the Round. So I was wondering the same thing.
Yeah, super cool.
But also just going back to the buggy as well, I was just going to say, because obviously they've sort of said about it possibly being a bit more open world and stuff. So I wonder if they've expanded it to more of a sandboxy thing of different areas so that you can kind of wander around, do things within the level, but it being more sandboxy.
Well, Final Fantasy 16 did that
Yes.
with a bigger area, so it will be
Yeah.
similar to that, I would think.
I would imagine so. Yeah, that's the vibe I got.
I think that'll be fine as well. Like I know people might have complained about open world nature of Rebirth, but at the same time, like even the original game was walled off to a certain point. You couldn't progress unless you knew how to kind of break the game, which people have subsequently figured out over time. But like this is fine. I don't think that I'm going to feel restricted at all with how much exploration we're going to be able to do. Now this scene totally, I was like, what? Cloud on a segue, like what's that about?
Easy. Costa del Sol.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's wearing the shorts as well. He's wearing the shorts. So,
You can see the ship in the background here with the ship mast and everything, or the flag.
he's on vacation. It's fine.
Look, I didn't see that.
Look at his drip though. He's got like, I don't know, man.
He's on holiday. He's living his best life.
Definitely one of the funnier moments in the trailer. Also leading into some more story stuff, of course, we have some of the Mako poison soldiers, the guys that are inevitably go towards the North Crater, looking for the reunion. So that was interesting. I don't remember who this guy is. Do you?
I know. So you know where Cloud gets the Mako poisoning and you find him in the wheelchair?
Oh, he's just the doctor there.
The doctor's surgery is the same layout.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So if you look at when Sephiroth comes in the next shot, it goes into the right hand side where he is.
Yep.
Trust in me.
That's my kind of focus.
Yeah, okay. That makes sense.
This next bit also confirms a boss battle that we didn't do. The Midgar Zolan.
Now that's really cool. I'm really looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I just love how well realized a lot of these bosses are. It just looks crazy good. And again, playing this game as a kid back in 97, 98, like the game looked like this to me, at least. Like, I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah, that's the thing. This is just like, it's like you put glasses on and it's like, oh yeah, this is what it was like.
Yeah, I know.
It's the power of imagination.
I mean, you're not wrong. Here we also have I think this is you know what? I think this is the Leviathan just before Junon Harbor.
Yeah, that's exactly it. So it looks like they're changing up a wee bit, because at that point the little girl is in the water, and that's where you do the CPR.
Oh,
so
yeah,
it's slightly different. I think it's going to be done earlier or a bit later on.
Okay. Well, bearing that in mind, this Leviathan thing comes out of a pirate ship, so that might explain the ships that we saw earlier. That might be like the Bay area before you get to Junon Harbor. That might be that. Pretty cool, because I mean,
underneath Junon, yeah,
that didn't exist in the original game. So like, again, they're fleshing these things out. Really cool. We've also got some more Yuffie gameplay here with Barrett teaming up together. That's great, very exciting. I know you guys liked the
attacks.
Yes, I know you guys liked the John, especially you liked the integrated DLC with Yuffie. That was really fun gameplay.
Yeah.
He just wellied her, right?
Yeah,
I know.
Full on
that, you beast.
Yeah.
Now I don't know what was with this scene here. I'm sure you guys know what I'm about to get into, but I was like, what are they doing?
Right. So there's I don't think it's this very scene. It's this bit.
What is like this about? Like,
this looks like a meme. This literally looks like, the boys fall in love. Oh, they have a great old time together. It's like, what is up with the animation by here? It's like everything else is like polished. This looks like you could put William Dafoe's face on it. Like, what is going on? Like, it just looks really out of
place.
Continuity. Yeah.
What's interesting with that bit is that they've taken a boss from the Nibelheim section.
Yes,
when you're playing as Cloud and the rest of the party, and moved it into the cam sequence.
Yes, that's correct. So this is the spider boss that's at the bottom of one of the reactors. That's the one.
That face is just killing me, though. It's like, what is going on? That? Oh god, no.
I don't want to dwell on it, but like, what is that about?
Yeah.
This just doesn't make any sense.
No, it really doesn't.
Anyway,
I want my hair like that.
But this looks really cool, and like one of the things that I was really looking forward to when we did hear about this game being remade was the calm sequence, the flashback thing, seeing Cloud and Sephiroth fight together. Very, very iconic moment in the game, and I remember partnering with Sephiroth in the original game, and he just absolutely plows through the enemies with his high level materia and attacks and everything. Is really cool. So I hope that sequence of the game lasts a little bit longer than it did in the original one.
Yeah.
Plus, we can probably action some commands to Sephiroth as well.
Right, so this was the thing I was on about with the Knights of the Round.
Yeah.
It looks a little bit
I think
like
I don't know if it's a summon. Alexander.
Alexander.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's similar, but this is a cool summon here.
What's interesting, right? What's interesting, my predictions video that I did a good while back, and I got roasted in the comments for this, right? Is I said that the original summons from Remake will not be in this. So you won't have Shiva, you won't have Ifrit, it's going to be brand new summons. This kind of confirms it to me that we're getting new summons. We're going to have Alexander, which is there. You see Odin in the next frame.
Yes.
Yeah, Odin's in there, yeah.
Wait, no. I think who is that?
Remember, I think that's Ixion. No, Ixion, that's FF10. But there's something similar to that.
There's Odin.
Yeah. There's Odin, yeah.
Yeah.
So I tell you what, 2023 is a good year if you like Odin. Like we've had Odin in Final Fantasy 16, and now this is classic Odin to me.
Yeah.
Looks so good.
Here we go.
And now this is like one of the every single moment in Final Fantasy VII to me is iconic. You can, there's nothing more that that outweighs any specific scene. But knowing what we know about the golden saucer sequences, especially depending on I think it's whatever RNG that you've manipulated within the game, you can get a specific date. So I'd be looking forward to going on a date with Barrett just because it'd be so awkward. And Rebirth. But we'll play this. I mean, look at this Battle Square, Chocobo Square. Like all these mini games are being preserved. It's just amazing.
It looks glorious. Like it just, oh my god! It just looks like such a fun place where you want to go and hang out, doesn't it? I'm not being funny. It's so inviting.
I mean, especially I bet you want to be hanging out there, James. Do you you want to be right in the middle of all that?
Well, I was thinking. I bet this was the part where John started to get turned on, but yeah.
But this cool. This dude makes a comeback, and here we have Dio. I was like, damn! They really made him look amazing. It was really.
That's
fun.
how he's always looked in my head.
I know, right? Well, you got a great imagination, there, dude.
Dude, the hair on his knuckles and everything, man. It's all there. It's all there.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah.
Here we have Chocobo Racing showing off a little bit. This was cool, especially knowing how it looked in the original game. I mean, come on, man. It was like one of the worst looking parts of the game.
Yeah. But this looked incredible.
This sequence right here.
Yeah, I was going to say, it was funny because I don't remember this from the original game. And I said to John, I think I said to you, John, didn't I? I was like, what's the block you do fighting? And you were like, it's the mini game. I was like,
Yeah, so in the Golden Square, in the Golden Saucer, in the arcade area, it's bang in the middle in the second room. And it's a very basic fighting bit.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And I love how they keep the polygonal look. It's just so cool. I love how over the years, Square has really embraced that polygonal PlayStation 1 look and just thrown it in and shoot it in. And it doesn't look out of place at all because that's how we knew these characters to look. And of course, the motorcycle game here as well.
oh yeah.
Some speculation online about the snowboarding sequences as well, but of course they'll be preserved.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think I'd have said to you about it because that was one of my favorite mini games in the original game, was the little snowboarding game.
It's so funny because in the original game, after the major turning point where Sephiroth kills Aerith, within the next hour, Claw's just like, all right, whatever, I'm just going to go snowboard down a mountain now. It's absolutely no remorse whatsoever.
Take your mind off it.
I don't think the snowboarding's going to make it in this cut.
I don't think so.
Sorry.
I don't know.
Unpopular, but don't think it's going to be in there. I need a mini game for the third game.
I don't. Yeah, that's very true. Very true. This sequence as well. This character here, I don't remember who this was, but this character was somebody trying to say something news related before the party, go up to the Shinra HQ and stuff like that. There was a focus on her as a minor character.
Look, in your local Final Fantasy nerds jumping in here, that's Kairi, or Kyra, I think her name is.
Yeah.
She's one of the quest lines in Final Fantasy VII Remake, where she steals Johnny's wallet, and she is also one of the novels as well.
Yes, that's right. Now, pretty cool that they're able to flesh out this character. Like having Zack in Rebirth gives them a lot of leverage to play with a lot of these characters in a different way, because obviously they're introducing a different timeline, a different storyline. So,
Could you look after my friend?
so Zack says, "Could you look after my friend?" So the one thing that we've been speculating about, I know, is what happens to Cloud in these events, like, because what happens to him? Because obviously he's Mako Poison, he's a secondary character now in the Zack timeline. What do you guys think?
Who's going first? Because I've got an answer already.
Go on, you go first.
Yeah, you go.
Right. So, Cloud. Now, there's a flashback scene in the last trailer where you see Cloud as one of the hooded figures, right? Cloud disappears at some point here in Midgar. He dons the hood and he's going to the reunion. That's how he disappears. That's why Zack leaves Midgar to go after Cloud.
Interesting. Very interesting.
That's my thoughts on it, because how else would he not be looking after how would Zack not be looking after Cloud at that point?
Yeah.
Because that's when he'll go to church. He's dropped him off with whatever his face is, goes to the church, and that's when he slips away and's going to do the reunion.
Yeah. That was pretty much my angle on it as well, as not so much that, well, yeah, no, just purely that he's turned into one of those zombies and he actually doesn't really make it back. He turns into one of the followers, and yeah, that was my take on it.
Do you really think they're going to do that to Cloud, though? But I suppose having an alternate timeline, just they have to have a reason for Zack to take the lead.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Really.
Yep.
So we'll continue on here with some more Junon Harbor sequences. I mean, this just looks great. I want to know who this guy is. Who's this guy?
Yeah.
I have a theory already, but I'm going to let someone take the lead on this.
Oh, I have no clue. I have literally no clue. I don't know who he is. I was looking at it and I've watched this bit several times trying to figure out if there's anything that I can see that gives me a clue. Now, I may have missed it, but I could not figure out who it was.
Doesn't look familiar at all to me. So, John, take the lead.
I have two guesses with this. Right? First guess is Genesis.
Very good guess.
Somehow fit in Genesis because there was a slight tease with Genesis and Remake where they talked about Project G and S. Or, and this is because of Ever Crisis recently coming out. Now, I don't know the story about First Soldier, right? But isn't one of the new leads Glenn, who is like some soldier operative? Now, I don't know the story about First Crisis yet. I've uninstalled Ever Crisis, but I just have a feeling it's because I see a goatee in that, like a beard. So it's either Genesis is growing for some facial hair, or it's this guy Glenn. They're going to try and fit in somehow into the lore, because they've already put in the likes of the deep ground folk from Dirge of Cerberus.
That's correct. We can kind of almost see the face a little bit better, and if we had our Blade Runner like enhanced machine, I'm sure we could go close up on that, but like there's not enough clarity there. So I don't know if it's I don't know. I'd be interesting to see Genesis with facial hair, but he doesn't have enough dumb apples for me to confirm or deny that one. But that's an interesting talking point, though. Like they're coming out with all these other things like Ever Crisis. I haven't played. I don't know if it's available in my region yet. But well, I'll have to look into it. But it makes sense for them to kind of shoe in these characters. But at the same time, like in Remake, they had this guy, Roche, who was like the motorbike soldier dude who was there for like 30 minutes.
My prediction with Roche was that he's going to be one of the jockeys at the Gold Saucer, the Chocobo.
It's a great prediction.
Yeah. I mean, they gotta throw him back in there somewhere, because like they made such a point of it in Remake. So yeah,
they did.
Be interesting.
They really did.
But I have no clue who this guy is. But
now this
Yeah.
Tifa says a weapon. This,
Only to appear when the planet is in grave danger.
as the dialogue says, only to appear when the planet is in grave danger. So the weapons are confirmed. That's really cool. I don't know what weapon this one is, though.
Is in grave
Do you guys have any thoughts?
tutelary creature.
I don't know. That to me didn't look like a weapon.
Yeah, I don't know either.
Unless that's the because the way that's swimming away, that looks more like one of the monsters from Final Fantasy VII Remake.
Only to appear
But again, that could be an eye that we're seeing there. So I don't know, because look, those are little arms there. So I don't know.
Yeah.
It could be anything.
The scale could also be off as well.
Yeah.
Don't know.
I couldn't make it out either.
Also, this next scene, I absolutely just freaked out when I saw this.
The chills.
The
that went down my
dude.
spine.
Who dares disturb my sleep?
I was like, oh my god. I legit, because this is so missable in the original. And I you know, the you can completely bypass all this.
Yes.
So to see that they're absolutely going with it, and yes, you will meet Vincent, just blew my mind. This honestly, I at that moment was yes, it was so good.
Yes, and like as you said, like this is a missable moment in the original game. I'm a bit sad. Like I don't know if I was really truly in love with the, Vincent's original voice actor, Steve Blum, very famously known as Spike Spiegel from Cowboy Bebop. I don't know if I liked his voice as Vincent, but at the same time, like I'm also used to it. So hearing another voice for Vincent is also a bit strange. But a very iconic moment.
Honestly, it's so cool.
Oh, I love it. It also makes you wonder. They have not shown Sid yet.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I think the next trailer will show Sid piloting something. No, it's actually too early for the high wind.
The tiny Bronco.
That's the one.
That could be it. All right, carrying on.
The reunion.
So this seems to be like some moments here from the end of the first game as well, because you have that cyclone and that's Midgar.
Reunion.
Yeah.
When worlds merge.
Some dialogue from Sephiroth.
Waiting.
Also, I want to point out with the closed captions here, the reunion when worlds merge. I think Sephiroth is talking about when Zack comes into the timeline, because some of the promo images now have been shown as Cloud on one side, Zack on the other side, and Sephiroth in the middle. So I think the goal was the reunion of those two characters, and especially Zack and Cloud have a history together. So
Yeah.
I just want Zack to reunite with Aerith as well, just because I'm a softie.
Oh yeah. They need to get their love on.
In 4K glory.
In 4K glory.
So
That scene.
that's the trailer here. That's very exciting. So that comes out Feb 29th on 2 discs. There's the talking point for that. Very exciting. This is a what I believe is a timed exclusive as well for PS5. So, and you can get the collector's edition for like $389.99 USD. So that's very exciting.
Yeah.
Now there's one thing that I want to discuss before we go into some tweets and stuff. What are your overall thoughts of the trailer now, having covered the stuff and gone a little bit deeper? John, we'll start with you.
I mean, the trailers totally sold it for me. Well, I was always going to sell it, but you can see the scale of the full-on scale of it. You see why it's PS5 exclusive, because it's going to use the hardware to its full. And it would have suffered massively if it was on PS4. That is clear as day. The excitement I'm getting seeing new characters, especially Kate Sith, the likes of Vincent as well, are utterly awesome, and just generally giving the transportation, like the buggy, the Chocobo, it's just showing the full size and scale, and that's honestly it's exciting as ever. Yeah.
I'm very keen. James, how about you?
So I think this just goes to show the fact that I don't think that we're going to be getting any patches for this game. I think this is going to come out as a fully competent game. I genuinely believe that, because to be putting it on 2 discs, the amount of stuff that they got to cover, I think that's probably why they delayed this as well, because originally it was supposed to be coming out before the end of the year.
That's correct.
And they gave themselves a little bit of extra time to sort of flesh a few things out. So I'm hoping that through this trailer, they're showing off all the different areas they're going to cover. I'm not entirely sure how this game is going to end. I know when I was speaking to John about it, there's a theory going around, which we'll probably get into in a bit, but I think that's very plausible as well.
Well, let's get into that now. I mean, because I'm echoing same as you guys. I think this looks fantastic. I was already very well excited for it, but now seeing some of these other things like completely realized, like some of the calm moments, Vincent and Kate Sith, very exciting. I don't know about the Sephiroth lovingly looking at Cloud, but otherwise, like it's a 10 out of 10 trailer for me. Now,
that was the only thing.
the speculation is where does this game end? And I think it was kind of soft confirmed in a Twitter quote from Tetsuya Nomura. I have it here on my phone. John, you sent it to me just a little while ago, and I want to read this because I think it's a very important thing to mention. It was stated that this game essentially ends just after the main iconic moment of Final Fantasy VII, which is Aerith's death. So Tetsuya Nomura says, "We have mentioned this a few times before, but the order in which you can explore locations is not the same as the original Final Fantasy VII, and there are some shifts in the order. For example, Wutai, one of the major locations, is not part of the route in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth and will be visited in the next one. Although there are some changes in the order of the locations depicted in this title and extend up to the Forgotten Capital, where the greatest fate of Final Fantasy VII awaits you." Now, what's really interesting about that, that's the ultimate turning point for the game, and I think they are not going to kill off Aerith in Rebirth.
Yep. My tinfoil hat is going to upset people with this one because Cloud's going to peg it. He is going to be the one that's killed, and then Zack's going to be pulled through to the timeline some way, somehow. Zack is going to lead the next game. Something along those lines. I mean, he might not get killed off. Cloud might not get killed off, but that's definitely when he's talked about how the reunion's bringing 2 worlds together, or something along those lines. That's the point where Zack comes in. And I think that's when we're going to have the change of character that you play as, which is going to be Zack in the next one. I really think it's going to happen.
It's a very interesting take. I wouldn't have assumed that they would go through as Zack as the lead for part 3, but you can tell that even if you're correct with your assumption of drip feeding Zack through certain story moments. So let's just say the game, Tetsuya Nomura said, or one of the Yoshinori Kitase, or one of the other devs said it's up to like a 100-hour adventure, which I will milk every single second of for sure.
Absolutely.
But if it's a 100-hour game, chances are you might only play 10% of that as Zack, which I think is just enough to kind of tease the player and set up, all right, Zack is going to be a lot more of a focal point. And I love this, especially as a fan of the original Crisis Core when that came out on the PSP. Fantastic title, and I'm so glad that they're giving Zack the opportunity to be in a lead position. What do you James? What do you think with in regards to the ending? Do you think they're gonna kill off Cloud? Do you think they're gonna preserve Aerith? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's already kind of alluded to in previous trailers that something's going to happen with Cloud. Whether he gets killed or not, I'm not entirely sure. But I do think that you're right on the fact that it's going to lead more towards Zack taking the focal point. How they actually go about that, I don't know. I've been racking over a few things in my brain as to how they were going to actually manage that, but I'm not entirely sure. But I do feel like that is the sort of direction they're going. As for the killing of Aerith, I mean, I don't necessarily see that happening either.
I don't either.
It's just a vibe. I think it was the end scene in Remake that really kind of made me think, okay, because of the fact that you saw Zack sort of moving with Cloud on his shoulder. That made me think, well, they're trying to bring back people that were dead in the originals, so maybe that's where things are going to flip over and turn. But yeah, as for like where they're going for the end of the game and all that kind of stuff, I'm not entirely sure. I think it's still too way up in the air to really get there. And obviously, we're only going to know by playing the game. But I'm excited to see how this is all going to play out, because we've got a lot of the iconic locations. We can still see that things are happening the way they did in the original, but again, there's that deviation. There's that little bit of we're going to go this way rather than what we did in the original game, which was go this way. Zach being such a fan favorite in the original as well, you sort of like, everyone loves Zach, who obviously learned about him in the original game, because again, there's parts of that you could just completely sidetrack.
Yeah, for sure.
But the people that knew about Zach always love Zach, so I just wonder whether that in itself is the storyline they're going to explore. So
I love it.
I do too. I can't wait. Absolutely can't wait. And like you said, with Crisis Core is one of the best Final Fantasy games, in my opinion. Do you know what I mean? That's been released. So, and that was amazing. So
definitely.
Yeah.
And like, I get now why, because I mean, even before Crisis Core came out, all three of us sat in a call and speculated they're going to change the ending, but no, they didn't. And I'm kind of glad they didn't now, in retrospect, because I want the impact of Zack being back to be more impactful now, because obviously that was teased at the end of the last game. It's just great, and I'm very excited. I think it's very important as well that they're keeping some of the original story beats, and I think that from the third game is really the point where they change everything. Whether they call it like Final Fantasy VII Requiem or something like that, just something really turning pointy. I don't know, Rebirth, because we had Remake, because remaking the timeline, Rebirth, a retelling of the story, but born in a different way, like obviously reborn or reincarnated or something like that. But the next one is going to be, the big change.
Yeah. I don't think the next game is going to follow any of the story that we know. Maybe for the first hour or two, maybe a little bit more, depending on how long that game will be. But I think after that, then I think it's going to be going down a very different route that we haven't explored. It's going to be a very different title.
If you want to consider this, think of the content that was actually on disc 3. Disc 3 of the original game was pretty much just the last story points with the Northern Crater and stuff. So it kind of makes sense if, like, after the temple or whatever, the
Temple of the Ancients.
Yeah, Temple of the Ancients or wherever it dies. Like my mind's drawing a blank right now. It just makes sense that they change things up. You know what I mean? Because there are some really great and memorable story beats, but at the same time, I wouldn't be mad if they kind of skipped some things as well. So I don't know.
Yeah, because the only thing that they really would be visiting is the Midgar section again.
Yes.
Where they drop ship into Midgar. I think that's when you'll get full access to the Highwind. It'll be more exploration than anything. I saw a really good theory. I think it was Maximilian Dude said on one of his shows that he reckoned that the third game was them going to be finding the Knights of the Round materia. But I don't know, it could go in any direction. It's like you said, Eric, it's that's disc of the game was mainly tidying up things, your chocobo breeding, which seems to be in this one.
Yes.
So
yeah,
it's all up in the air. They could add in extra story beats as well.
Yeah, I think you're right in that, because as with the whole Vincent thing, they missed out a lot. They included a lot of the stuff that you may have missed in the original game. So I think things like that are going to come into it with the Golden Chocobo, all that kind of stuff, so you can go get the Knights of the Round, all that kind of stuff. I feel like it might be in this game, I feel like that's going to be a thing. So it'd be very interesting to see if they do that, but I hope they do, because
I agree.
awesome.
I agree. I think the thing that we can all agree on is that this is the best time, and especially one of the best years to be a Final Fantasy fan. Obviously, we had 16 come out. All three of us have played 16, love 16. But the real breadwinner of the series, in my opinion, is 7. And knowing that it was being remade, I mean, the remake was teased 8 years ago now, and now only almost what will be pretty much the 9th year since the original teaser, we're getting the second part and the installment, and it's really great. And I'm very much looking forward to that and what the series holds. We had a lot more planned for the show today, but I mean, we're coming up 45 minutes of recording, so I don't want to keep you guys any longer. But I'm just super stoked. I'm very excited. I think the most important takeaway for me is that Zack is back, and I think the more I think about it, the more I let my brain just kind of digest the fact that he's like there, and I can see him and just in his whatever 4K PS5 glory. I think it's just awesome. Like it just reminds me of how much Crisis Core really resonated with me, and how Zack's backstory really resonated with me. And no wonder why Cloud kind of drew upon his Zack's persona. Like, why wouldn't you? Like, his personality is very infectious, and I just think it's so cool. And again, such a great time to be Final Fantasy VII fans. So before we jump off, do you guys have any last kind of final points you want to say to wrap up the program for today?
So I just want to quickly say that I am very hyped for this game. I cannot wait. It's going to be absolutely amazing. And yeah, it's just going to look, it's everything you could want in modern day Final Fantasy games. I love it. I'm excited.
John, how about you?
I've got 2 points. First of all, how long is it going to take Square Enix to release a Cloud figure wearing shorts?
We're riding a segue.
Second of all, everyone's going to get sick and tired of me talking about Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because I'm going to be banging on about it as much as I do with Final Fantasy VII Remake. There is a reason why this is my all-time favourite JRPG gaming series, so to get back into this fully expanded world that we have all built up in our imaginations when we were growing up with the original, I just cannot wait for it.
Definitely agree. And speaking of JRPG stuff, if you enjoy this video, please go give John, Chick, and Phil a subscribe. Again, doing weekly JRPG videos over there on YouTube. I'll leave links in the description, as well as James D. Review Ting doing weekly retro stuff, and the DRT show, his weekly podcast with his friend Graham. I listen to it. I'm halfway through episode 16 right now. It's a great episode. And if you like this video, please, leave a like, subscribe if you haven't done so already. Leave a comment down below. I would love to know your thoughts on the trailer and some of our thoughts as well, because I don't know if, the trailer is still relatively new, but some theories have been out there. But of course, the rumor mills are going to be churning now with some new information, and we might have just contributed something to that. So hope you guys enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you again on the next video. Ta-da. Take care.